Hey, so good morning, and thanks a million for joining me on the yoga mat this morning. This week's focus is on the lower limbs, the feet and the ankles. So anything really from the hip line or the waistline down is what we're looking at this morning. Trying to create a little bit of energy in the legs this morning. So we will be doing a little bit of balance work. But again, just go to where you feel challenged, and then if you feel comfortable there, then you can move to the next challenge if you feel comfortable there, and so on, so on. So don't try to kind of go straight for the end without the little bits in between. Actually, it's a really nice life lesson, our balance poses, because it allows us to challenge ourselves, step next, challenge ourselves, step next, step forward. If you do, if we are going into our balance poses, if you want to make sure there's like a chair or a wall nearby to you, it'll be mostly in our flow this morning, but just to kind of bear that in mind and don't beat yourself up about it. Really good for strengthening the legs, really good, particularly for the feet and ankles, and creating a little bit more stability in them. So again, we'll do a little bit of work into that this morning. But for now, we're just going to start in a nice, easy cross-legged seat. Sitting as tall as we can through the spine. We'll relax the shoulders back, lengthening. Opening the palms to the ceiling. And then we'll inhale both arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As we exhale, press forward and release. We'll do that twice more. So a nice big stretch as we inhale, look up. And as we exhale, press forward and release. And we'll do that once more. Lovely. Straight away, we're going to start to work into mobilizing those hips. So again, if the hips are tight or niggly, we're going to find that in the lower limb. So we're going to pick the right foot up. We're going to place it into the left hand, right knee into the right hand. We're going to sit nice and tall. If we can, but don't force it, bring the shin a little bit higher until we feel a nice release into that hamstring. And then we're going to gently rock into the right hip. Again, not forcing it, but not being afraid to see how much range we have as we draw the knee back. And as we draw that foot across the body, relax the breath softly in and out through the nose. So again, just really wakening up into that right hip joint. Slowly, slowly. And try to keep that lovely long spine so we're not collapsing, particularly into that lower back. Eventually we come back to center, hugging chest to shin, shin to chest. If we want to go deeper, we can place the foot into the left elbow crease, the knee into the right, and either interlock fingers or catch hold of the shin. And again, we can just stay here, breathing into that space. If you want to try a little self-massage, you can always make a few circles onto that right sit bone, but just make sure those circles are nice and large so we're actually getting into the muscle and we're not just on that bony part of the joint. Slowly, slowly. Again, just massaging into the glute here. So again, as I've mentioned, if there's instability or imbalances in the hips, chances are they're going to be transferred out into the legs. So we need to make sure our hips are mobile, but also strong. So we'll be looking at that a little bit this morning too. We can reverse those circles. Breathing softly. And again, if we're not making the circles, we're just taking some lovely deep belly breaths in and out through the nose, feeling that release. But again, it should be a nice sensation, so we're not forcing it. Coming back to center, options here. We can either come to easy cross-legged with the right foot in front, or we can stack the joints in our log pose. Place the right ankle just above the left knee, the right knee above the left ankle. Try to get those joints stacked. So again, if that right knee is really high here, I'd probably advise you to come back into easy cross-legged until the hips have woken up a wee bit more. From here, from our log pose or easy cross-legged, we're going to place the left hand just above the right knee, and then inhale the right arm up, and as we exhale, gently twist to the right. We'll place the hand on the ground behind us, close to the lower back, pressing the left hand into the leg, drawing ourselves a little bit deeper into that twist. Looking over the right shoulder. So as we inhale, we're lengthening tall through the spine. And as we exhale, we're twisting from the lower back and moving it into the rib cage, into the chest, and all the way out through the neck. Nice full belly breath, using that belly breath to mobilize the core from the inside out. Every exhale, getting a little bit more. One more breath. And then slowly inhale back through center, little twist to the left, just release. And then back to center again. We're going to reverse. We're going to work into that left hip. So again, come back into easy cross-legged. We'll pick the left foot up, place it in the right hand, left knee in the left hand. Drawing that toe toward the knees for keeping that lower leg active. We can bring the shin a little bit higher if it feels good. And again, we're just going to softly rock into that left hip. And again, if that right foot's in the way, feel free to straighten out the leg a little bit, just that we have that space to work into the hip. Just notice how that feels comparing to the other side. So even depending on how we slept, one hip can feel a lot different to the other. So again, we're just gently waking up into that space. Relax the breath. Softly, softly. Again, trying to maintain that lovely connection to the core. And eventually we're going to meet back at center. Hugging chest to shin, shin to chest. Again, stay here, or maybe place the foot into the right elbow crease, knee into the left. Interlocking fingers are catching hold of the shin. And again, maintaining that lovely length in the spine wherever we are. If you want a little self-massage into that left glute, you can draw a few nice big circles. And again, we're aiming for the fleshy part around the joint if we can. And if we're not in those big circles, once those small circles feel comfortable, we're not getting any pinching or nervy pain. It's just a nice gentle release. Slowly, slowly. And then we reverse those circles, opposite direction, nice and easy. Meeting back at center. Again, we can come back into easy cross-legged with the left foot out front, or we can stack the joints, left ankle on top of right knee, left knee on top of right ankle. And again, just notice one knee might come high on one side and not on the other. So again, if you need to come back into easy cross-legged, just get nice and comfortable here. And then we're going to place the right hand just above the left knee. Inhale the left arm up. And as we exhale, gently twist to the left, we'll place the hand on the ground behind us, really close to the lower back. Pressing the right hand into the leg, see if we can draw the left shoulder back a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen tall through the spine. And as we exhale, twist, release, and let it go. And again, always starting that twist in the lower spine and moving it all the way up through to the neck. Opening into the heart, massaging out the core. One more breath. And then slowly inhale back through center, little twist to the right, just release. And then back to center again. We're going to straighten those legs out in front. Adjust the sit bones, get nice and comfortable. Draw the toes toward the face. We're going to soften at the knees and we're going to reach for our strap or our towel or our pillowcase or whatever we have at hand. We're going to wrap it around the balls of those feet. Tuck the elbows into the waist, drawing the shoulders back and then straightening the legs. We're putting a little pull, a little bit of pressure on that strap until we feel that into the lower legs. When we're working into the hamstrings this morning, just make sure we're stretching into the center, the belly of the muscle, and not behind the knee or up into the sit bone. So we're looking for that lovely fleshy part. We can stay here. That might feel enough. If we want to go deeper, we're going to inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, gently fold, folding from the lower back, leading with the chest, maybe walking the hands toward the feet. But keep those shoulders drawn back. So we're trying not to round into the shoulders. Keep hugging those elbows in. Every inhale, we're lengthening. And every exhale, we're folding. Release the head, release the neck. And just notice, even as you tuck the chin ever so slightly, you're going to feel that all the way down into the hamstrings, maybe even into the lower legs. So that whole posterior line of fascia, just with that little chin tuck. So a really nice one to use in our forward folds. Again, we're lengthening on the inhale, we're folding on the exhale. If it's too strong in the hamstrings, just soften at the knees. You can still work into the lower back. You can still work into the lower legs. Softly, softly, one more breath. We're just going to pause here. Relax the head as much as you can for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale slowly back up the seat, and then we can remove the strap off to the side for now. Lovely. We're going to hug the right knee in and we're going to rest the right ankle just above the left knee. Get nice and comfortable here again, drawing the toe toward the knee. We're going to place the hands behind us, fingertips point back. Again, that might be enough, just working that right knee toward the ground. If we want to go deeper, we can bend the left knee, flatten out the foot, and then we can shift the sit bones toward the heel, heel toward the sit bones, and the closer they become to each other, the more we're going to feel that into the right hip. Keep drawing that right toe toward the knee, pressing that right knee away from the body, and we're just going to breathe into that space, nice and easy. Try not to collapse into the shoulders, so really open in the heart here, strong in the arms, breathing here for 3. For 2. And 1, slowly straighten that left leg out. We'll straighten the right leg out to meet it. Same deal on the other side. We'll hug the left knee in, rest the ankle just above the knee or just below if it doesn't quite get there. Drawing that toe toward the knee. We're going to place the hands behind us, pressing that left knee toward the ground. This might be more than enough. If you feel like you'd like to go deeper, you can soften the right knee, flatten out the foot, and maybe shift the heel toward the sit bone toward the heel, making that space a little bit smaller, but not forcing it, and pressing that left knee away from the body. Making sure both sit bones are grounded and we're not floating off the mat here, so really stable in our foundation. Relaxing with the breath. Pressing the ground away, opening into the heart, but really focusing that energy into the left hip joint. One more breath. Excellent. And then gently release, straighten that right leg out, straighten the left leg out to meet it, and then from here we're going to come to lie back onto our mats. Just make sure you do have your strap and your block there within reach. So lying back onto the ground, knees are bent, feet are flat to start with. We're going to hug the right knee in, give it a nice little squeeze. We're going to do a little bit of soft tissue release into that calf muscle. So if we're wearing long leggings, we can roll them up to just below the knee. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to point through the toes. We're going to get both thumbs and we're going to literally pull the calf muscle away from the heel. And we're going to inhale here. And as we exhale, keep that pull. We're going to draw the toe toward the knee. So we're going to inhale, point, work those thumbs up along that muscle. And as we exhale, toe to knee. And we're going to continue working the whole way along the calf muscle. And the nice thing about the calf muscle is it has 2 bellies and we've got 2 thumbs. So we can work both bellies at the same time. So we're putting pressure as we pull. We're keeping that pressure as we draw the toe toward the knee. So you should feel a nice release. The stretch is between the heel and where those thumbs are at. And as we work the whole length of the muscle, just notice if the sensation changes. So it might get easier. It might get more tender. And again, feel free to stay in one part of the muscle if it feels like a really nice release. And we're going to work all the way up to just below the knee, but we're not going to press in behind the knee joint itself. Again, a really nice way of wakening up tired lower legs. And also if they feel so tight that a stretch actually feels like a little bit too much. It's a really nice way of working into it. Lovely. And then we're just going to gently knead out the muscles, almost like we're kneading a loaf of bread before it goes into the oven. So again, nice and easy, just stimulating a little bit of blood flow back into that calf muscle. While we're here, we're going to work into our tibialis. So this time we start with the toe drawn toward the knee. We're going to get the index and middle finger, and we're just working along the right side of that shin bone. We're going to pull the muscle away from the ankle joint. And as we exhale, we're going to point through the toes. So we're inhaling, flexing, pulling the muscle away, and then exhale, point. And again, we're going to work all the way up along that shin, working along the right side of that shin. So where the really fleshy part of the muscle is. And you can try inverting or everting, pointing inward or outward with the foot. You can try even drawing little circles as you work into the movement and noticing how that feels. And you could spend a lot more time doing this. So sometimes it's nice if you're sitting at home in the evening. You could also do this just sitting up in the chair. It's just a lot easier to get that lock when we're reclined here, but there's no reason why you can't do it sitting up. Our lower legs are one of the greatest parts of the body to do a bit of self massage. They're so accessible. Lovely. So all the way to just below the knee. And again, we're just going to massage that tibialis out. And again, you can create a little bit of friction here. Anything really to get the blood flowing. A few little glides up and down. Lovely. And then if we're wearing our leggings, we're going to roll them back down. I didn't realize how tight these leggings were. Lovely. Hugging that right knee in. We're going to rest the right ankle just above the left knee, back into our figure four. Pressing that right knee away from the body, grounding the lower back. We're going to draw the left knee in, lifting that foot off the ground. Interlock fingers or strap around the back of the left hamstring. And again, just really feeling that into the right hip. Draw the right toe toward the knee, pressing the knee away from the body. And again, we can stay here working into that right hip. We can make a few little circles into that left ankle while we're here. Relax the shoulders, opening into the heart. And then we can reverse those circles, still feeling that sensation into the right hip. One more breath here. Lovely. And then we're going to release that left foot down. We're going to stay in our figure four. If you know figure four bridge is not for you, you can place both hands to the ground. Hands come to the ground, fingertips brush the back of that left heel. We're going to gently peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground as we lift those hips, pressing the left foot into the ground. We're going to walk the shoulder blades together. Nice and strong. Pressing those hips nice and high. Drawing the right knee toward the ground. And again, if this doesn't feel good, place both feet down to the ground, working into our traditional bridge. From here, we're going to work a little bit stronger into the hamstrings. So we're going to come up onto the ball of the left foot, getting into the foot and ankle here as well, keeping those hips lifted. We're going to inhale, lift, and as we exhale, gently lower, hovering the hips just off the ground, staying on the ball of the foot. Inhale, slowly lift. Exhale, slowly lower. This time, we're going to press the heel into the ground as we lift. And again, just notice how that sensation changes into the back of the leg. Another one on the heel. Back to the ball of the foot for two. Nice and high. Noticing how that feels. So we're creating strength in the foot into the calf and then pressing the heel. Get a little stretch into the calf and a little bit of strength into that hamstring. Last one up. And then slowly release all the way down to the ground. Staying in a figure four, we'll extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. And then we're just going to allow those legs collapse over to the left, coming into a little spinal twist, looking over toward the right fingertips, really pressing that right knee toward the ground. So we just feel a nice release into the right glute for three. For two. And one, back up to center. And as we exhale, allow those legs to drop out to the right as we look over the left shoulder for three. Little stretch in the left hip for two. And one, and back to center, figure four. And then we're going to rest that right foot down to meet left. Hugging the left knee in. Again, if we're wearing leggings, we can wrap them up to just below the knee. We're going to start pointing through the left toes, getting both thumbs. We're going to pull that calf muscle away from the direction of the heel on the inhale. Keep the lock, and as we exhale, draw the toes toward the knee. So we're inhaling, pointing, pulling the muscle away from the joint. And as we exhale, flex. So again, we're feeling that stretch from the heel to wherever those thumbs are at, keeping the pressure as we draw the toe toward the knee, and you can release the pressure and then lock in again. So again, all the way up that calf muscle. And again, really you can work into any of the lower leg muscles using this same little technique. The soft tissue release. And particularly if you're recovering from any lower leg injuries, you've got a lot more control of, say, what part of the muscle you're stretching into without overstretching. And just a nice gentle release all the way to just below the knee, and then we're just going to massage out the whole length of the calf, up and down, just kneading it out, getting a little bit of blood flow, a little stimulation. Lovely. And we're going to go straight into the tibialis. So again, this time we're starting with a flex foot, so we're drawing the toe toward the knee. We're getting index finger, middle finger. We're going to work the muscle along the left side of the shin bone. So we're going to pull the muscle away from the direction of the ankle joint. And as we exhale, point. So inhale and flexing, pulling the muscle away from the joint. And then exhale, point, and continue with your own breath. So again, it's really nice to point the foot inward, see how that feels. Maybe you can point the foot outward. We're probably not going to get as much of a stretch. And then even make it a few little rounded circles. So again, really nice way of exploring that lower leg. And again, as I said, you can spend a lot more time than what we're doing this morning. Breaking up all the soft tissue, but just in a nice, kind of relaxed way. So there shouldn't be any pain here. It should just be a nice sense of release. You might find it gets a little bit more tender as you work into the upper muscle. So again, just even noticing where those points of tenderness are really key. All the way to just below the knee. And again, we just create a little bit of friction. Maybe a few little glides up and down the muscle just to re-stimulate, getting the blood flow going. Excellent. And then we can relax again. We can pull that leg in down. If it's up. Hugging the left knee, and we're going to rest in the left ankle just above the right knee, figure 4. Draw the toe toward the knee, press the knee away from the body. Grounding the lower back. We're going to lift the right foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling. And either interlock the fingers or wrap our strap around the back of the hamstring. Gently walking the shoulder blades together, pressing the left knee away from the body. And we can relax here, really working into that left hip. If you feel like making a few little circles into that right ankle, just while we are here. And again, just notice how that feels comparing to the other side, not forcing it. Breathing deeply, opening into that heart space. Full length of the spine is connected to the ground. Reverse those circles into the ankle. And if the lower back is coming off the ground, definitely use your strap here as a little extension of the arms so that you can both get that heart space and that hip space with a nice stable lower back. Relax the breath. One more breath here. Lovely. Release the grip, release that right foot to the ground, staying in our figure 4. And again, if you know figure 4 bridge is not for you, place that left foot down to meet right. Fingertips brush the back of the right heel. Pressing the foot into the ground, we're going to gently inhale, peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground as we lift those hips high. We're going to walk the shoulder blades together, pressing hands, arms, shoulders, that right foot into the ground as we lift those hips, draw the belly in. Notice if the left knee is pointed toward the ceiling. See if you can draw it down toward the ground, really engage with that left glute. We're going to come high up onto the ball of the foot. We're going to stay here as we inhale, lift, and then exhale, lower the hips, hovering just off the ground. Inhale, really slowly up. Exhale, really slowly lower. Transfer that weight into the right heel. We're going to inhale, lift, really feeling that into the hamstring. Exhale, lower. 2 on the heel. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Transfer the weight into the ball of that right foot. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 on the ball. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Drop into the heel, pressing that heel in. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. And then slowly release all the way down to the ground. Staying in our figure 4, coming into it if we're not there. Extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. We're going to inhale at center, and as we exhale, drop the legs over to the right as we look over the left shoulder, really pressing that left knee toward the ground, grounding that left shoulder into the mat for 3, for 2, and 1. Staying in a figure 4, inhale back through center, and as we exhale, allow the legs drop over to the left. Release into the right hip, side of the waist for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back to center. And as we exhale, we're going to uncross those legs. Lovely. Hugging both knees in toward the armpits. Hands are rested on the shins. Hips are open, feet are wide apart. We're going to inhale, press the shins into the hands. And as we exhale, allow those hips open a little bit more. Inhale, shins into hands. Exhale a little bit more. again, we're going to come into our full happy baby here if it's accessible. Bringing the soles of the feet parallel to the ceiling, touch and hold the calves, shins, maybe ankles, inner arches of the feet, or we can interlock middle and index finger, bring the big toes, grounding that lower back into the mat. We're going to inhale, press the feet up toward the ceiling, and as we exhale, draw the knees down toward the ground. So we're inhaling, pressing up, and then exhaling, drawing down. Each time trying to get a little bit more space into the hips, making sure that lower back feels stable on the ground, and if it doesn't, bring the grip a little bit closer back toward the knees. If you want a little bit of leg stretch, we're going to draw that left knee toward the ground. We're going to try to straighten out through the right leg. So again, that hand can be just above the knee, it can be at the ankle, or it can be holding on to that big toe. We're going to hold it here, drawing that left knee back, feeling stable in the lower body for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back. And as we exhale, draw the right knee down. We're going to straighten out through that left leg. So really drawing that right knee toward the ground. So it's almost like we're pulling a bow and arrow here. Press away through the left heel if that leg is straight, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back into happy baby. Exhale, straighten the right leg as we draw that left knee down. Inhale back into happy baby. Exhale, draw the right knee as we straighten that left leg out. And continue with your own breath, alternating legs. Again, making sure we feel stable in the lower back, not overstretching into the hamstring. So keep a softness to the knee if it feels too much. Again, listening to your own body here. Last one, both sides. Leaning back in our happy baby, we're going to bring the knees together, crisscross at the ankles. Options to make your way anyway to seat, or you can rock and roll with me. Just the once, bringing ourselves forward into a nice strong seat at the front of the mat. Hands come forward. We're going to shift the body weight forward, making our way into a nice strong tabletop at the center of the mat. Shoulders over, elbows over wrists, elbow creases face forward, fingers widely spread. Drawing the belly in, really engaging with those lower back muscles, and we're going to tuck the toes under just to get a nice little bit of space into the feet. Inhale, draw the chest forward as we take the gaze up and arch the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, take the gaze back to the belly. Inhale, gaze goes forward and up, arching. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, tuck the chin to the chest, and continue with your own breath. Nice strong cat-cow curls. Making sure the elbows aren't popping out to the sides. So elbow creases are facing forward, and we've got a lovely strong line of energy from the shoulders through the elbows right into the wrists. So no pressure, actively pressing the ground away. Feeling that between the shoulder blades into the back of the neck. Relax the breath. Allow yourself to loosen up a little bit as we breathe forward and back. Meeting back at center. We're going to keep the hands grounded, keep that left knee grounded, and then we're going to straighten that right leg back. Bending the right knee, we're going to press the sole of the foot toward the ceiling, drawing the belly in. We're going to gently pulse that right foot toward the ceiling. That's stimulating into the hamstring and glute. Pulsing for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, draw the right knee in to touch the nose. And as we exhale, press it back to the start. Inhale, knee to nose, strong in the arms. Exhale, press it back as high as we can go with that right leg. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, press it back. 2 more. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, back. Last one. Meeting with sole of the foot parallel to the ceiling. We're going to straighten the right leg, land on the ball of the right foot, gently press away through the heel for 3, for 2, and 1. Right knee comes back to meet left. Same on the other side. Again, making sure those shoulders are stacked over the wrists. We're going to straighten that left leg back. Active through the heel, we'll bend the left knee. Press the sole of the foot toward the ceiling and just gently pulse here, wakening up that hamstring and glute. Strong in the arms, strong in the joints for 3, for 2, And one inhale, left knee to nose. Exhale, press it back, really lifting that back leg high. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, press it back. 4 more. Keep drawing the belly in so we're not putting pressure into that lower back. Really strong in the glute and hamstring here. 2 more. Last one. Meeting with sole of the foot parallel to the ceiling, we're going to straighten the left leg, landing on the ball of the foot and gently press away through the heel for 3. For 2. And 1, and bringing that left knee back into meet right. We're going to bring the knees together, feet together, toes are tucked under. We're going to walk the hands back toward the knees until we're sitting back up onto the heels, wriggling through the toes here and allowing the weight really rest onto the heels. If it's too much in the knees, you can use a towel, you can wrap it up and place it behind the knees. And over time, that towel can get a little bit skinnier until we can comfortably sit back. Pausing here, relax the shoulders for 3. For 2. And 1, gently bring the hands forward. We're going to untuck the toes, sit back toward the heels. Again, if that's too intense on the ankles, you can place a towel in front of the ankles or just below the knees. So you're kind of lifting the knees here. And again, we can stay here. We can place the finger pads to the ground, anywhere in the hip area that we've got a nice length in the arms, or if we find we're overreaching, you can place 2 blocks or 2 books either side of the body and use them as a little extension. We're going to press the hands into the ground and gently see if we can lift the knees ever so slightly. If that feels good, we can lift them a little bit higher. So we're stretching into the front of the ankles and into tibialis, holding it for 3, not forcing it. For 2. And 1, gently release, hands come forward, we'll tuck the toes under, gently sit back toward the heels, wriggle through the toes, pause here for 3, relax the shoulders for 2. And 1, hands come forward, we'll untuck the toes, sit back toward the heels, walk those hands back in line, close to the hips, but see where those arms are at, pressing finger pads into the ground. If we can, lift the knees, but don't force it. If we want to go a little bit higher, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1, release, last round, hands come forward, we'll tuck the toes under, sit back toward the heels, resting here, body weight onto the heels, wriggle through the toes for 3, for 2, and 1, hands come forward, last one, sitting back toward the heels with the toes untucked. And again, sitting here might be more than enough if we feel like going deeper, pressing the hands, finger pads into the ground as we lift those knees, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1, release the knees, gently walking those hands back into our tabletop. Knees are together, feet are together, shoulders stacked over wrists. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to open that right knee out, but try to keep that lower back still. So we're not opening from the spine, we're opening from the hip. Inhale, knees together in. Exhale, open that left knee out to the side. Continue here with your own breath. A little clam movement, keeping the toes touching. And again, keeping that lower back stable. So again, just working into our hips here, into our glutes. So it's often easy enough to get that leg out to about 45, but the glute engagement is where we want to get it a little bit higher, aiming for 90 if we can. Nice and slow. Last one, both sides. It's a really good way of seeing what way we're at side to side, but also a really good way of reworking that activation. Meeting back, we're going to bring the knees hip width distance apart. Tuck the toes under, sit back toward the heels. We're going to press the ground away. Melting the heart, melting the head toward the ground. If the head doesn't quite reach, you can use your block supporting the head here. Just taking a nice relaxed child pose as we press the ground away. See if we can draw those sit bones back a little bit further. Again, wriggling through the toes, creating that nice little bit of activity into the arches of the feet. From here, we're looking back toward the toes. We're going to hover the head off the ground. Press the hands and feet into the mat. Gently lift the knees and then press those hips as high as we can toward the ceiling, lowering the heels down toward the ground. Pressing the ground now, see if we can get the chest a little bit closer toward the mat. We're going to inhale, walk the hands back toward the feet until we come to a forward fold at the back of the mat. And then exhale, walk the hands all the way to the front, and we're going to come into a plank pose. So we're inhaling, walking the hands back toward the feet, trying to keep the legs straight. And then exhale, walk all the way back into our plank. Inhale, walking the hands back to the feet. Exhale, walk it forward. Last one, inhale, back to the mat. Stay here in our forward fold. We're going to place the hands to the shins. See if we can lengthen through the spine, create a little bit of length into those legs, holding it here for 3. For 2. And 1. Tuck the chin in. We're going to slowly roll all the way back up to stand at the back of our mat. Lovely. Take a little drink here if you need. We're going to go to our flow practice. If you have a block, you want to place it just toward the front of the mat. We should be okay for our strap. When you're ready, meeting at the front of the mat, feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart. Hands to heart. Relax the shoulders, draw the belly in. Find that point out in front to fix your gaze. We're going to inhale high up onto the balls of the feet, lifting those heels, just aiming for stillness here, drawing the belly in, relax the shoulders, relax the breath for 3. For 2. And 1, exhale, release. Inhale high up onto the balls of the feet. If that feels good, we're going to stay here. We might soften the knees, sit back into a little half chair. Try not to lean forward or lean back, just a nice neutral spine. Knees are pointed forward and they're not flaring out to the sides. Lowering as low as we can go, but keep those heels lifted. We're going to pause for 3. For 2. And 1, inhale all the way back up. And then exhale, release. Lovely. Arms are by the sides here, palms are open to the front of the room. We're going to ground that left foot into the mat. Find your point of focus out in front. We're going to inhale, lift the right knee out in front, bringing the hands to heart center. Again, we can maintain stillness here. Otherwise, we're going to exhale, press that right foot back as far as we can go, and then gently hinge the body forward. Keeping the gaze forward as we lift that back leg, and we might bring those fingertips to rest on the ground. So really lifting that back leg. We're going to hold it here for 3. For 2. And 1. Bringing the hands back to heart with as much control as we can. We're going to bend that right knee, bringing it all the way out front. From here, little challenge, and again, feel free to use the wall if you need. Interlocking middle and index finger around that right big toe. Left hand comes to the waist. Nice little bit of hip opening here. And again, we can stay here. Or if we want to work a little bit into the hamstring, see if we can straighten that right leg out in front, but try not to collapse. So keep that nice long spine. Holding it for 3. For 2. And 1. If we want to explore a little bit more, we're bringing that right foot out to the right. Pressing away through the heel, try not to collapse in the spine for 3. For 2. And 1. Inhale that right foot back out in front. And as we exhale, hug that right knee back into the chest. Lovely. Resting the right foot down. Same little sequence on the opposite side. Arms are by the sides, palms are open. And again, don't be afraid to use the wall or the chair. So make the sequence as accessible as you can. Grounding the right foot, we're going to lift that left knee out in front. Again, aiming for stillness here, bring the hands to heart. This might be where we stay, challenging that standing leg. If you want to go further, we're going to gently press that left foot back as far as we can go, and then gently hinge the body weight forward as we lift that back leg. As high as we can go. Maybe even bring those finger pads to the ground or to the block or to a chair out front. Lifting that back leg for 3. For 2. And 1. Slowly bringing those hands back to heart as we bend the left knee. Woo. all the way out front. And again, if you touch down, just come back into it. So just challenging ourselves a little bit this morning. Interlocking middle and index finger around that left big toe, right hand comes to the hip. And again, we can stay here. This is a lovely hip space, lovely challenge for that standing leg. If we want to work a wee bit more into the hamstring, see if we can straighten that left leg out in front. Drawing that left leg back into the hip bone, holding it here. Gazes forward for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, open that left leg out to the left. Notice how that feels for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, back out in front. And then we're going to hug that left knee back into the chest and gently release and let it go. Nice, shaking the legs out. So again, a lovely one for building strength into the legs, stability into the hips. Not that easy first thing in the morning, so well done. Coming to the front of the mat, hands come to heart. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins, nice long back. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, right heel drops. Bringing our way all the way up into our warrior. We're going to extend the arms, palms face down, softening into that left hip. This time we're going to come onto the ball of that left foot and gently sink the hips. Holding it here nice and strong for 3, for 2, and 1. Staying on the ball of the foot, right hand rests on the back leg. We'll inhale the left arm up, flip the palm, and as we exhale, reach the left arm to the back of the room, looking over the shoulder for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, arms back wide open. As we exhale, drop the heel. Cartwheeling both hands down either side of the left foot, coming onto the ball of the right, and just gently pressing away through that right heel. Hands can be grounded or up onto the finger pads for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to step that right foot until it's about 1.5 foot behind the left, flattening out the feet. See if we can straighten the legs. So we can either keep the finger pads to the ground if we can maintain a nice long back. Otherwise, we can bring the hands to the shin, or we can place 2 blocks out in front. Sending the body weight forward and sitting back into those hips, feeling that into the back of the left leg. Holding it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Softening the left knee, placing the hands to the ground. We're going to step the right foot up to meet left, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge, dropping left heel down. Engage the core, make our way up into a warrior. Extend the arms, palms face down, softening into the right hip. Right knee, right foot's pointed forward. We're going to come up onto the ball of the right foot. Sink the hips a little bit lower here for 3, for 2, and 1. Rest the left hand on the back leg. We're going to inhale the right arm up, flip the palm, and as we exhale, reach the right arm to the back of the room, looking over the shoulder for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, arms back wide open, drop the heel, and as we exhale, cartwheel both hands down either side of the right foot, coming onto the ball of the left and just really actively pressing away through that left heel for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to step the left foot so it's about 1.5 foot behind the right. Both feet are grounded, feet are pointed forward, and legs are about hip width distance apart. Again, we can stay up on the blocks, we can stay up on the fingertips, or we can rest those hands to the shins. Really lengthening through the spine here as we press back in through the hips for 3, for 2, and 1. Soften the right knee, hands are to the ground. We'll step that left foot up to meet right, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. Take a little drink here if you need. We're going to go in to another little challenge with our balance. We're going to work into dancer pose. So again, meeting at the front of the mat, and again, you could have the wall, you could have a chair out in front if it makes it a little bit easier. Hands come to the hips. We're going to bend the right knee. Keep the knees together. We're drawing the heel toward the bum. And then we're going to get that right hand. We're going to catch hold of the inner arch of the foot. So the wrist is facing outward. So inner arch of the foot, not outer side of the foot. And again, drawing the heart open, pressing those hips forward. We can stay here, pressing the foot into the hand, and then see if we can gently draw the knee back, but keep it toward the center line of the body. So we're not bringing it out to the right. We're lifting that foot as high as we can go. And then we could extend that left arm out in front, looking toward the left thumb. See if we can lift the foot a little bit higher. And if that feels good, we might hinge the body weight forward. So again, remember this can be done with the left hand on the chair, on the wall, holding it, lifting for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly coming back to center, knees are together. We're going to lift that right knee out in front. And as we exhale, soften the left knee, we're going to step back onto the ball of that right foot. Nice and controlled. Drop the right heel down, open the arms, warrior. Coming up onto the ball of that left foot, we're going to sink into the hips, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Right hand rests on the back leg. Inhale the left arm up, flip the palm, and as we exhale, reach the left arm to the back of the room, looking over the right shoulder for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back to center. As we exhale, drop the heel, cartwheel both hands down, either side of the foot, coming onto the ball of the right, holding it, pressing back through the heel for 3, for 2, and 1. Staying here, we can bring those hands, those arms back in line with the right foot. See if we can lift the belly off the leg, drawing the shoulders back, strong in the legs for 3, for 2, and 1. Bringing those hands back to the ground. We're going to set that right foot 1.5 feet behind the left. This time, we're going to reach for our block. If we want to make it a little bit more intense, we can place the ball of that left foot to the block. And again, we're just sending the chest forward and drawing those hips back. So again, just stretching into the back of that left leg, not overstretching, just a nice gentle release. Holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. We can release those hands to the ground, remove the block, and gently step the right foot up to meet left. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Second side, and again, do not be afraid to use those aids in our balance. Feet are together, knees are together, hands are to the hips, shoulders relaxed. Find that drishti point, that point of focus out in front to fix our gaze. We're going to bend the left knee, allow that heel come toward the bum. Again, we can stay here, or we can get that left hand, catch hold of the inner arch of the foot. So again, the wrist is facing outwards. And then from here, drawing that left shoulder forward, we're pressing the foot into the hand. And see if we can lift that heel away from the body. But again, keeping it toward the midline of the body. So we're lifting as high as we can go. And then maybe bring that arm out in front, looking toward the right thumb. See if we can lift the leg a little bit higher, and we can't lift any further, then we can hinge the body forward. Keeping that gaze fixed out in front, feeling that into the quad here a little bit too, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale all the way back to center stand, knees are together. We're going to draw that left knee out in front, soften the right knee, and see if we can step that left foot all the way back into a nice high lunge. Drop the left heel, open the arms, warrior. Coming onto the ball of the right foot, really engage in those lower leg muscles. We're going to sink the hips a little bit more for 3, for 2, and 1. Staying on the ball of the foot, left hand rests on the back leg. Inhale the right arm up, flip the palm, and as we exhale, reach the right arm to the back of the room for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, arms back wide open. We'll drop the heel as we exhale, cartwheel both hands down, either side of the foot, coming onto the ball of the left, pressing away through that left heel for 3, for 2, and 1. Stay here, or bring those arms and hands back directly in line with that left leg, lifting the belly off the leg, drawing the shoulders back.
Nice neutral neck. Gaze is just slightly forward of the mat for 3. For 2. And 1. Placing the hands either side of the foot. We're going to gently step that left foot. So it's about a foot and a half behind that right heel. Again, if we want to go a little bit more into the back of the leg, we can use our block. We can place the ball of that right foot onto the block. And again, we're gently lengthening forward through the spine as we sit back into the hips. Holding it here. Hands can be on the shin or on the ground or on the block. Again, listening to your own body here for 3. For 2. And 1. Remove the block, softening out of the pose. We're going to step that left foot up to meet right. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a little drink, we're nearly there. A few little challenges left to do. So I did promise quite a lot of balance work this morning. Those lower limbs are really going to thank you for it. So again, little challenge you're going to face you for this one. So with our balance poses, it's always a little bit easier if you've got a hard surface. So if your surface is quite carpeted or your mat is quite thick, it's always going to be a little bit more challenging. And again, maybe that's what you want. So again, if you want to take your way off the mat for this one, you can. Feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart, hands come to hips. We're going to inhale, lift the right knee out in front. Bringing those arms by the sides, we're going to lift that right knee a little bit higher. And as we exhale, we're going to soften the left knee and straighten that right leg out in front, pressing away through the heel. Inhale, lift the right knee out in front. And as we exhale, soften the left knee, we're going to press the right foot all the way out to the right. Inhale, lift the right knee out in front. Exhale, soften the left knee as we straighten that right leg behind us. Try not to touch the foot down. Inhale, lift that right knee out in front. Exhale, soften the left knee. We're going to bring that right foot behind us to the left, little curtsy lunge. Inhale, lift the right knee out in front. Again, you can use the hands or you can challenge it by bringing the hands to heart center. So the hands are just there for an extra little bit of balance. Exhale, press it out to the right. Inhale, lift that right knee out in front. Exhale, soften the left knee as we press back through the ball of that right foot. Last one, inhale, right knee out in front. Exhale, soften the left knee. We're going to curtsy lunge. Again, try not to touch down. Inhale, right knee out in front. And then exhale, release and let it go. So we can choose not to soften the knee, but by softening the knee, we're getting a little bit more into the calf and Achilles. So it's a nice way just to develop a little bit more strength in that lower limb. Okay, same on the other side. Feet nicely grounded, hands to hips to start with. Relax the shoulders. We're going to challenge that right side this time. Find a point out in front to fix your gaze. We're going to inhale, lift the left knee out in front. Arms are by the side. See if we can lift that left knee a little bit higher. As we exhale, soften the right knee. We're going to straighten the left leg out in front, pressing away through that left heel. Inhale, lift the left knee out in front. Exhale, soften the right knee as we press that left foot out to the left. Inhale, lift the left knee out in front. Exhale, soften the right as we straighten that left leg behind us. Inhale, lift the left knee out in front. Exhale, left leg behind us, little curtsy lunge, softening that right knee. Inhale, lift the left knee out in front. Again, hands to heart, or you can use your hands. Exhale, soften the right knee as we straighten that left leg forward. Inhale, lift the left knee out in front. Exhale, soften the right as we step that left foot out to the left. Inhale, lift the left knee out in front. Exhale, soften the knee. Step that left foot back. Last one. Inhale, left knee out in front. Exhale, soften the right, bringing that left leg behind the right, little curtsy lunge here. Inhale, left leg out in front. Exhale, release and let it go. Well done. Lovely. For our final pose this morning, we're going to make it nice and easy. We're going to bring it to the wall. If you want to bring your mat so that it is perpendicular to the wall, so that the shorter end is in line with the wall, just so we've got a nice little bit of support here. And then we ourselves are going to make our way to the wall. So this is a nice restorative pose for the legs. We're a couple of, maybe a foot away from the wall here. We can scooch our way back onto the forearms and elbows, and we're going to use them so that we can bring ourselves perpendicular to the wall. Again, using the arms and elbows, we can bring ourselves a little bit closer to the wall until we're about a fist away from the wall, and then we can straighten the legs up toward the wall. What's really important here is not so much where those sit bones are at, but just to make sure the lower back is pressed into the ground. So if it's not, just scooch your way a little bit further away from the wall until you feel really supported here. And again, this in itself is a lovely restorative pose, just legs up the wall. If you're working into the hamstrings in your own practice, you can always place little sandbags onto the balls of the feet just to create a wee bit more gentle length here. But this morning we're going to open up into our V legs. So we're getting a little bit of restoration into the legs, but also a little bit of space into the hips. So just allow those legs drop out as far as feels comfortable. Feet are super relaxed, so feet are dropping out. We're allowing the weight of the legs fall all the way into the wall. We're allowing the weight of the body fall all the way into the floor. So we should feel supported from both front and back here. Options here for the hands, if you want to bring a little bit more consciousness to those hips, those inner thighs, you can just rest the hands here, relax the shoulders. If you want a little bit more heart space, you can open into your cactus arms. Make sure that whole length of the spine is on the ground. Or if you want to focus a little bit more in on your breathing this morning, we can place the right hand to the belly, the left hand to the chest, but just make sure those arms and shoulders are relaxed. And just focus on a few lovely full body breaths. Eyes are closed. Maybe tuck the chin a little bit to release into the back of the neck. And again, we're not holding the space here, just releasing into it. If it feels anyway intense, you can bring those feet back together. So again, just flushing out the legs here. So this is one of our easiest forms of inversion. So inversion is where we turn the body upside down, but we can still get the same lovely restorative benefits as if we were standing on our heads. Into the lower body, just draining out the legs. Lovely one to do at the end of the day or as a recovery pose. Softly breathing. Every exhale, just allow ourselves to relax a little bit more into the pose and just fighting the urge, allowing the mind rest. So forget about what you need to do, where you need to go. Just a couple of moments left on the mat this morning. So really just enjoy them for what they are, allowing yourself that time, that space. Breathing into the body, releasing any little bit of tension that we've been holding on to. As you exhale, feel free to sigh the breath out and just really allow the body go, allow the mind go. Last couple of breaths here. And again, if you do have time this morning, feel free to stay here a lot longer. So after a minute or so, it's not going to make a massive difference to where the muscles are at, but it's just that lovely restoration of the body, of the mind, that restful practice. Just taking a little bit of pressure off the feet. One more nice full belly breath. We're going to bring both hands and place them to the outside of the thighs and just internally rotate the knees inward a little bit, just to take the pressure off the hips. And then from here, using the hands, we're going to bring those legs all the way back up the wall and just gently shake them out. So again, just getting a little bit of blood flow back into that hip space. Lovely. And then we can use the elbows and arms to scoot away a little bit away from the wall, so we're just not right on top of it. And we're going to hug the knees into the chest, into the armpits, maybe make a few little circles, figure eights into that lower back. Relax the breath. And then coming to stillness here, we can release the grip, allow the feet return down to the ground. And then slowly rolling over onto our right hand side. Take a couple of moments here just to allow the body and mind reset, reconnect. And when you're ready in your own time, we're going to press the left hand into the ground. Just slowly draw ourselves all the way up to seat. Head comes up last. And we're going to find ourselves into any comfortable seat that feels good for you. So it could be easy cross-legged, sitting back in the heels, whatever feels good. And we're going to finish our practice just like we started this morning. So sitting nice and tall, nice and strong in the spine. We're going to open the palms to the ceiling, relax the breath. And then inhale both arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward, release the breath, side out and let it go. We do that twice more. So a nice big stretch. And release. Last one. Lovely. Bring the hands to heart center, press the palms together, close down the eyes, and just thank yourself for creating a wee bit of space in your morning to come to the mat to create some lovely energy, some really great strength and stability, and hopefully take that with you into the day and into the rest of the week ahead. And thank you for sharing your practice and your energy with me. Namaste.